Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the latest episode of Show Me Your Diamond podcast. I'm Giulia Castelli, your host, and also author of the book with the same name, Show Me Your Diamond, a 7-step guide to finding your inner light. Today's diamond is Helen Zimprich. She's a parenting coach, a mom, and so much more. I'll let her introduce herself properly. Welcome, Helen.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited to share my story with you and your beautiful audience. Yes, my name is Helen Zimprich, and as you said, I'm a parenting coach and a mom. Since I was a little girl, I had one dream. I wanted to be a mother. That was really always a clear path in my whole life. And in my late 20s, I still didn't find my future husband. And I got a bit worried. And I always joked, okay, if I'm not finding the perfect man, I still can have a career and work. But luckily, with 29, I met my husband on a Christmas party in Berlin. Unfortunately, he just was on a move to Beirut for his first job. He just finished his studies. And I just moved to Berlin, so I didn't want to move again. But after 6 months, my boss, he offered me a free flight to Beirut for vacation. So I went to Beirut and called before my future husband asking if I can stay for 2 weeks in his flat. And after these 2 weeks, I quit my job and we got married. And a year later, I had my first son.
What a beautiful story. Is that both of yours regretting his gift? The flight to Peru that he lost you?
Yes, I think he regretted it a lot, a lot, a lot. Yeah, a lot.
Oh, but do you believe we have a path that is already waiting for us, or do you believe we are the sole creators of our own path?
I think there's someone waiting for us. No, I think really that that was God's plan for me to meet him and to have my beautiful three children with him.
Oh, 3 children. Amazing. So you're German, and is your husband German as well?
Yes, we are
Yeah.
both Germans. Yes.
Both Germans living in Lebanon. How is that?
It is actually at the moment very quiet for us. We're living on the countryside. So we started our journey in Beirut, so in the capital. Of course, it was a bit more exciting and loud and noisy and bars everywhere. But now we're living on very on the countryside. I see the mountains from my window. So it's very peaceful. My children, they grew up very safe and very secure. And no, it's very nice. They can play outside with neighbor kids, and after school they just go out and play and come back late night dirty. So that it's like a very perfect childhood.
Oh, it's really wonderful. That almost doesn't exist anymore in the big cities.
Exactly. That's why we choose to live on the countryside to give them exactly this kind of childhood.
And how did you choose this career path? Have you always been doing that, or did you have other jobs before? How did you become a parenting coach, and why do you do it?
I didn't do it forever. No, I after my studies, I studied actually Middle Eastern studies, so politics, and I worked in marketing for a very long time. First for a magazine, and after in Dubai for German tourism. So I did marketing and public relation for Germany in Dubai. And the parenting coach actually that came a few years ago when my oldest son started to struggle with math and I needed to find ways to support him. So, of course, first we just went through working with math, with formats, everything. So, and he improved so much. So his all the gaps were filled, but the bad grades still were the same. So I thought there was definitely a mindset program, so a problem, so that he doesn't believe in himself. He doesn't believe that he can do it. So I started to read the book Mindset from Carol Dweck. And in this book, I found a profession parenting coach, and I never heard about that. We have life coaches and business coaches, career coaches, everything. For everything, we have a coach, but for parenting, wow. And this is something we really need because, So you are having a baby, and maybe some mothers read a book, but most don't, and so many parents struggle. I see so many kids with they don't connect with their parents anymore. The parents they don't know, in particular nowadays, how to connect with their children and how to raise the children. So this is why I said, oh my goodness, this is my inner calling because I love being a mom. I was a stay-at-home mom for 11 years, and it was my choice. So I decided to stop working to be a mother, to be with my children, because I was lucky enough that my husband earned enough money so I could choose this path. I know many mothers out there, they can't do this, even if they want to, but many parents, they need two incomes. So motherhood was always my inner calling. And now I thought, okay, this is a very great career because as a coach I can combine both my passion as a mother and turning it into a profession, helping other mothers to be a happy mother too. That was for me, it's my dream job.
Wow, what a beautiful path, and the fact that you have found your calling, and so young still. And it's amazing that you have children because sometimes I remember when, because I'm also a mom, I'm a mom of two teenagers, so I can totally relate to the motherhood and the motherhood path and working mom. There's a lot to be said. And I'm so glad that there is this profession parenting coach. Actually, I always believed this is needed because when my son was only 8 months old, I signed for a parenting course. And everyone at the course was already struggling with their children. So they already were in the time of the life when there were problems. They were teenagers or they were in school, and my baby was 8 months old. So the other moms in the course were looking at me like, why are you here? But as you said, there's so much to learn, and because there are different challenges in motherhood in every stage of the growth of our children. So sometimes mothers need help with their babies and then toddlers and then school starts and teenagers and then even universities and young adults. So that's amazing. What are the most challenges that people reach out to you for?
One of the biggest challenges always is about boundaries, that the children are not listening. They want, mother go to a toy shop, a child gets a tantrum, wants something, and the mother, they don't know how to handle it. So often they tell me they just buy it to have peace, but it's definitely not solving the problem. So it's happening always again and again. So this is one of my biggest part. Now I created a new program on that because really this is what most mothers really ask me. So to set boundaries and to set rules in the house. And I think this is something so important that we create structure for the children because when the children know what is allowed and what is not allowed, they feel safe in the world and they feel confident. So they go out in the world and no, in the school, I don't do this, I don't bully, I be kind and things like that. If they know all these values, they are so much more confident, as I said. So this is the biggest struggles mother are coming to me.
And I believe, as a coach myself, I know that boundaries is probably one of the first thing people should work on. And I believe once you helping those mothers with boundaries with their children, you're probably starting from before, from deeper, teaching them to set boundaries with themselves.
Yes,
Yes, because it's
that,
fundamental. Where I come from, when I grew up in Eastern Europe, we were not taught boundaries. So for me also, it took me a long time to learn, understand, and actually establish my own boundaries with my children, with my husband, now ex-husband, with friends, with colleagues and partners. It's so important to know where we finish and where another person starts.
it's so important, exactly what you said. And this is what in today's parenting is missing so much. And it's not only also what to teach the children as boundaries, what is allowed, also what you said, your own boundaries. If maybe for you it is important to have a clean house, have one of the boundaries, tidiness. Then your children understand that you want them to tidy up after them, that it's important for you, because when you are happy, they are happy too. So it's so important also to take care of your own boundaries, so as a mother, so that you take care of your inner soul, of your heart. So because otherwise you cannot be a good mother when you are not happy. And this is also a big part of the boundaries program.
Amazing. So, of course, we cannot not touch on something that is mega important in today's world, especially in parenting and children. And this is the amount of time that our children spend on their mobile phones or gadgets. Do you have lots of parents coming with problems with that digital world?
Many parents, they don't come to me because I think they don't see, I don't know, they may be worried about this problem, and they're worried about to address it to their children. So I worked a lot on this topic, and I raised a lot of awareness, and I talk at schools a lot about this, because this is something so serious. And I'm so strict about that in my own house. So we have very strict screen time rules. So only after 7 in the evening, my kids are allowed to watch or to use the phone. Of course, during the day to check WhatsApp briefly, it's okay. If they use it for education reasons, they're allowed to watch YouTube, but in general, no. Because kids today, they're missing out social context. I invited a friend of my children for lunch. And the whole time at the lunch, the child had the phone like this in the hand. Imagine. He was eating like this, and the phone had nothing on the screen. It was turned black, but it was just holding it in the hands. This showed me just how big this problem is, that a child is only feeling comfortable with the phone in their hands. So, and they cannot having eye contacts anymore, or really having real conversations. So it's and they're not moving. My smallest son, he has a very close friend, and last year they bought him a PlayStation. And since this day, this little boy stopped playing football, stopped playing outside. He's only inside playing Fortnite. And this is so horrible. And he really said, the day my best friends got the PlayStation, I lost him. It's really it's a timeline for him that he's matching this day. It was a very horrible day for him. So, and it's something, it's very bad. And I really want to work hard on that and help parents really to stop this, because this is for the brain development so bad, and for the whole future. So as I said, they don't have social skills anymore. They can't communicate anymore. They don't move. They're overweight. Their muscles are weak. So there are tons of problems coming. And then we didn't talk about what they're watching. This is another topic.
Yes.
I talk a lot about language. What are children watching? So I see my daughter when she's watching not the best educational YouTube videos, and it's from influencers. She starts to use a bad language. Then, and my daughter said, no, you cannot talk like this. I don't want this. So stop watching this. So it's a very big list going on why screen time is so bad for children, and we really need to address it as much as possible. And I really hope to help as much as parents here in this case.
Yes, and that's why I invited you on the podcast, because that topic is very important to me as a mother, as a coach. We need more people raising awareness about all of these topics. And we already said, so boundaries is one of the top ones, but then also education of our children on how, when to use the digital devices. I'm very much into health myself, and I know how harmful also the EMF noise radiation coming out of the devices is. So there's so many problems. So there's the what they're watching, how much they're watching. Uh, are they replacing the real communication? but then also the harmful rays and waves coming out of those devices. That's another thing I work also with people, and I raise awareness that first the time should be limited. When it cannot be limited, then there's also ways to suppress this radiation. Fortunately, already there are certain devices. Reach out if you're interested to hear more. But today, I wanted to ask you also. So, hopefully, you'll inspire some other people to go into that profession as well and understand that that's a real job and there's so much need for it as parenting coach. And I wanted to ask you about the biggest low and the biggest high in your career or in your life. It's your choice, but I love to invite real people with real stories, with powerful stories, because this is how we connect to others. This is how we show others the path. I was here and now I'm here, and you can do that too.
Yes, sure. So, between my second and third child, I started a job, and we lived in Jordan at this time for 6 years. And my husband, he saw a very nice job description. It was fitting so good to me, and said, "Apply. Maybe it's a good idea." I didn't want it because I told you I really wanted to be with my children. But he also said, so one day the kid's getting older, maybe it's also important not to lose the connection to the job market. So I applied, and I got the job. But after a couple of months, I got very sick. I got pregnant again with my third child, and I developed a very raw mastitis in my breast. So I had to quit my job because it came back again and again, and I spent nearly half a year in a hospital. While pregnant, I had two toddlers, so my husband had to really take care most of the time alone of the toddlers. I even had to fly for 6 weeks alone to Germany to a specialist. And it was very hard. I had three or four operations, surgeries with full anesthesia while I had my baby in my belly. And you never know, it's very, you go through so many things. Every time you wake up, you check the heartbeat first, if your baby is still alive or not, if the medication, is it affecting your baby or not? There are so many questions and so many things going on. So it was very hard. And I had to take cortisone, which is a very high heart medication and a very high doses. So thanks God, everything went fine. I had my baby. I could breastfeed. That was even not clear until the very end. So because I only could breastfeed with one breast, and the others they told me you are not allowed to do anything with. Um, and but after the pregnancy, it came back again, and I had to take cortisone again. And my body reacted after the pregnancy like crazy, that my body became so like I looked like, I don't know, Michelin, is it, I was very fat. Yeah, my whole body was full of water, and I didn't even look like myself. I could show you pictures of people in the street. I opened my door, and people said, "I want to talk to Helen." I said, "No, I am Helen. Hi." And they said, "No, you're not Helen. That's not you." I was a different person. So
Wow.
it was very hard to go through all this. And um, and I started also, before I had to take the cortisone again, another business as for birthday parties with a partner for children. I thought it's a nice idea, and I started this business with looking like that. So I had to go out, I had to show up, I had to talk to mothers, and it took me a lot of courage and confidence to do all this together. So, but I don't know from where I got all this strength to do that, but I had to do it for my kids and for myself. I don't know. So I was always a fighter, and I went through it. And my husband was always on my side. Honestly, he was amazing. If you would see the pictures, I think other men would just run away. I don't know. So it was, I think, one of the hardest times in my life.
Mm.
Yeah. So.
Wow, you are a true fighter. And as you said, probably the children gave you all the strength that you needed. and the husband, and you are giving a hope to so many women out there who have lost some faith in men. And here you are, you're saying there are some amazing men and they stand by you. And that's amazing to hear that you have that real happy family, that you're living in the countryside and you're doing what's best for the children so they could play outside and so they are protected from the big, dangerous, exciting life in the big cities. So well done, you guys.
Thank you.
And what about highs in your life, your career? Like, what were your most exciting moments that you live for?
When I started, I had the decision to become a parenting coach. I just recently started, so I became a certified parenting coach last November. So it's quite a new business, less than a year. So the moment I took the decision, I am becoming a parenting coach, it was just really exciting the whole way, taking the beautiful certification program from JAI Institute for Parenting in America, and to start everything, my brand, my logo, just to really make it happen, make it real. And I created a very powerful group workshop. And during the past 6 months or 7 months, I helped already more than 100 women here in schools and nurseries with a 1 hour group workshop. And the feedback was just amazing. I called every woman, ask about the feedback, and it was just incredible when they said, okay, in the beginning they really were lost with the children. As I said, the children didn't listen, and after this one workshop they just knew how to talk to the children, how to deal and how to understand that the tantrum is not a bad behavior. It's just a reaction of the brain being overwhelmed, that they need us to calm down. They understood the role of a mother, that a mother, our job is to calm the baby, to be there, just to hug, to kiss them, and many mothers, they just yelled and stop and do this, or they refuse to help because many people tell you when a tantrum is happening, ignore the baby or the child. That's what you have to do. That's a very common perspective, and that's so wrong. A child needs love. That's all what a child needs is love when they have a tantrum. So this is so actually the whole last 9 months were just a high. So it's just very exciting, and I got recognized from a Global Woman Club under the 100 most influenced entrepreneurs of 2025. So that was also a huge recognition, and I was so grateful for Mirela Sula for that.
Oh, beautiful. And of course, I will put a link in the description of the podcast so people could find you, people who need your help with their children and with their own sanity, being a mother. So they'll be able to help you because I know your work is very, very important. And I
Yes,
can tell you're very passionate about it. And it doesn't matter that it's a new calling, new business, but you have a lot of experience as a mother. Because I
exactly.
remember when our children were born, the first child, because you give birth, and those children they come with no instructions, and you're overwhelmed. What do you do? And me and my husband then decided that we want to do it on our own. So grandmothers were not invited. Believe me, for the second time, my mom was here. So, what did we do? We bought the book. I even get goosebumps remembering and talking about that. So, we bought the book that is very popular in the UK. Gina Ford, she's a nanny who advocates for very rigid routines. But you know what? This, I feel now it was so wrong. I'm totally against this program because Gina Ford is someone who has no children. She was a nanny, and I believe she made the routine to suit her. It was very convenient for her to know when the baby goes to sleep, when wakes up. It's very easy for the parent then. But ignoring their cry for attention, for love, leaving them to cry until they fall asleep, I don't know, I found it so challenging. It went against everything I felt. And with the second child, I threw away the book and I just followed my intuition. And of course, by then I already also done the parenting course, and I was a little bit more prepared. You're never fully prepared because, again, children are not all the same. But I have also reached out to professionals with certain very challenging situations. And believe me, if you're a mother out there watching or listening to this, know that it's okay to look for help. And actually, is the biggest strength. It takes strength and courage to acknowledge I'm finding this challenging. Let me look for help. And there are out there people who have studied this, who have lived that. There are people who are ready to help you. So do not hesitate, do not hold it in, do not blame yourself, forget the blame, the shame. Just there's help out there. Wow. Would you like to share a story? Because I know as coaches we have the confidentiality and the loyalty to our clients without revealing, of course, personal details. Could you share with us a challenging, very challenging story and the outcome that the parent came out after working with you?
Yes, of course. I think the person I have mostly in mind was my first client, and she came to me because everyone around her told her something. It was a bit like you read the book and you felt it's not what you feel it's right. And it was like her mother-in-law and other family members told her things, and she felt it was not right. It was the same. Put your child to bed at a certain time, feed your child at a certain time, and things like that. And she didn't feel it's natural. So she came to me and she just told me what she feels is right. And I told her that's perfect. Everything what you feel is right, that is right. So this is your intuition is so perfectly working. So just stop listening to the voices around you. And this is always my biggest advice to all mothers. Stop listening to voices around you. Only listen to yourself and maybe to people you really trust, you think have maybe the same values, the same perspective. But in general, you know as a mother what is right and what is wrong. So she went through my whole program, but she mostly needed only to hear you are doing good, you are fine. And then of course the knowledge she got, it was on top, it made her more confident and better, you know. I When I started my own program, I thought I am a very, of course I was a good mother, otherwise I wouldn't have become a parenting coach, but I learned so much, and this course made me a so better parent, a so much better mother, you know, all the tools, how to stay calm and about the brain development, everything what I learned, I didn't know before. So it made me really a better mother, and her of course too. So everything what she learned gave her so much impact on her motherhood. So but it was really just she needed more confidence, and she stopped listening to the voices around her.
It's a beautiful, it's very timely that we touch on that because I'm sure there are mothers out there or parents out there who need to hear that. I have also personal experience with that because when I became a mom for the first time, it was all new and it was overwhelming. And I had a very big baby. Like he looked like he was already 3 months old when he came out. And so this was a good thing. On day 3 or 4, he could hold his bottle. Although I'm saying bottle because in the beginning with breastfeeding, I found it quite challenging. But I breastfed my first child for 18 months, I believe, 16 or 18, and my second child for 11 months. And I'm very proud of that because I know that there's nothing better than mother's milk. And I'm saying only that to encourage more young mothers to try and to do their best to breastfeed. And of course, sometimes it's not possible medically, but please do not do it for any other reason. Do not choose, I don't know, saving the breast or your own convenience. No, the baby needs your milk if you can. Please, please do that.
This
So
is so important. No, I really want to support you here. It's so important. And the breast is not getting destroyed by breastfeeding. It's the whole pregnancy and the age, you know. This is one of the things. It's not true that breastfeeding is a reason for that the breast is not looking good afterwards. So it doesn't matter what you do. It's our, I don't know, it's happening.
yeah,
You know, so but no, breastfeeding is the best you can do for the child, and there are no two opinions. And of course, I know there are some women they can't do it,
yes,
but as you said, try hard to make it happen, get support. There are so many wonderful midwives or professionals here supporting women. I'm not professional in that, but for mental support, I am here. So I'm
yes,
definitely, this is one of my really, it's a topic close to my heart because I was breastfeeding my three children very long. I told you the last child, they told me you can't breastfeed, and for me it was a nightmare to think how to feed a baby with a bottle. I didn't know how. It was for me more stressful than breastfeeding, you know.
yeah,
To wake up at night to heat the milk, and what are you doing when the child is crying? You know, when you're comforting us with your breast, it's quite immediately calm, feeling safe, you know. So for me, it was really even just with one breast. I breastfed my last child after all this happening with the disease for 3 years. Really.
unbelievable. So this is a real dedication. So yes, again, we're not discussing medical conditions when you cannot, but if you can, if you medically can do it, please do it for your child. It's actually the best bonding experience. I cannot tell you how beautiful it is. And full disclosure, my breast did not get ruined.
Very good. Very good.
So, talking on the intuition, I also wanted to make a point. I had it very challenging because I had a very strongly opinionated husband and a mother with a very strong opinion as well. And somehow their opinions were stronger than mine. I almost lost my voice then because there were those two strong people in my life who were trying to help me, but at the end, looking back, it was horrible because they did not leave me space to feel what I thought was right as a mother, because I am the mother of the child. So when the baby would cry, my husband would say, "Oh, he's hungry." And my mom would say, "No, his tummy is hurting, it's colics." And I didn't know what to do. And they were kind of fighting for who is stronger or who is better, who knows better. And I got lost in between the two people. And looking back now, I know that I was lacking boundaries. I wasn't strong enough, and I don't blame them. They came from a place of wanting to help. But for me, that was really wrong, not having my boundaries, because now there's no way. If I had to do it all over again, I would be like, "Thank you for your opinion. Thank you for sharing. This is what my baby needs." But now, of course, through so much work on myself, I know my boundaries. And I know that we mothers, we parents have intuition. And husbands should allow the moms to be moms because the fathers are important in a different way. So this is just a personal experience I wanted to share with the audience, because this happens, but really believe in yourself. And if you cannot establish your boundaries, then seek for someone to help you mentally with the mindset, because you need to feel your heart, because your heart knows.
It's so important what you said, and no, really. So I agree also when maybe it was easier for me because I was a stay-at-home mom, so it was my job, you know. So and when my husband, thanks God, we have mostly the same opinion about parenting. Thanks God. That's also a reason why we are maybe so happy because we are in most of the important things we are on the same side. But if we are on a different opinion, I have the last word because I tell him I'm the mother and I'm a stay-at-home mom. So I'm the CEO of this family. So I decide what is right or not. It's not that I'm not listening to his opinions and see, maybe he has values to share. So, but if I don't agree with him, I have the last word if it's about parenting. So, and this is very important to me. So, because this is my profession and he has his profession. So it's both very important that, as you said, we need to take our role as a mother and say, okay, that's I am the mother, I have the last word. But of course, also as a parents, that we are listening to each other and seeing both sides. So, but it's very important to have this confidence and saying, no, I know what is good for my child. So I love this.
Yes. Well, it took me time, and that's why probably one of the reasons we're no longer married. But we co-parent to the best of our abilities, and I believe at the moment we have a very good relationship. We always show up for the children together. And my ex-husband is always welcome at my home. Like during the weekend, he was putting together the new vanity case of our daughter. It's important for them to know that this is how it should be. Maybe we're not married anymore, but he's their father and he's very important to them. So, what would be your advice to parents who still live together, but they are of completely different opinions on parenting?
To take a class with me, honestly. So because
The
this
big
is not
one.
healthy. It's very not healthy. You know, I read yesterday in a book, very nice. If it's about relationship and you're going into different directions, it's like imagine a boat is going to south but another one wants to go to north. It's not working. You cannot go to south and north at the same time. So you need to find a way to go together to either north or south.
Yeah.
So, and because of course you can say we do what I want, but in parenting, if the opinions are too going out of each other, it doesn't work. I have so many parents. The mother want no sugar for the kids, for instance, and the father, they don't care. They just give chocolate like crazy, and the kids are getting overweight, and the mother tries to work against it. But you know, you cannot work against it if your husband is not on the same side. So they need to educate in this case the fathers, and I get the help from me or another parenting coach and bring your husband on the same page because otherwise it's neither healthy for your relationship or for your children, you know, and it's always about the best for the children. And so it is so important.
Hmm. And what would be, do you work with, or maybe not yet, but what would be your advice for parents who are divorced or separated? What would be one or two advices to them from your perspective?
No, I never worked with divorced parents, honestly. And it's something for me heartbreaking to see it because I know so many. In particular, here also in Lebanon, I see so many young couples getting divorced, and it's breaking my heart. And I think it's the same advice. Get help from a parenting coach. Come to me, book a class, and I can tell you how you can go through it together. When you need to co-parent, you know, you need to find the most important part is no fightings in front of children, no war, you know. So if you decide to live separately, there are reasons for that. Unfortunately, not every man or woman are treating each other in the good way. But you need to find a level to parent together, to talk to each other. I know also many parents here, they do it very well. They're friends and a good role model in this case for their children. But I have also a lot of very bad examples. But they need help. They need really, but for getting help, the first step is also to be able to receive help, you know? You know it yourself, you're a coach yourself. So you cannot coach someone who's not able or willing to be coached, you know? They're not listening. It goes here in and there out. So, but this is so important, you know, to find a level of communication and peace in the family, you know, because for children, they need at least see that the parents can work together as a team.
Yes, yes, I can, of course, speak a lot from my own experience. Uh, but you're right. This is the main thing is first respect each other, no matter the differences. There should be respect. There should be kindness as a just a human being. Forget that there are differences and someone hurts someone, and there's always two to tango, right? So forget the blame and just try to do what's best for the children. And what's best for the children is to have calm and happy parents, even if they have to be in two households, because it's already so much for the children living between two houses. It's already so much. So try to think what's best for them. I see in life and around a lot of people, and especially unfortunately women, are using their children as a tool to get back at their husband or to get more money or revenge. And in both cases, this is wrong.
That's
I
very
think this is very wrong. You do not understand that you are, I mean, I'll say it bluntly, you're screwing up your children. Okay? So forget about revenge, forget about getting extra money. Get low, be kind, and money will come, and you get what you want, but with kindness and patience. But put your children first. What do they need? Do they need money, or do they need peace? Of course, you can have both, but just really think what's best for the children. If you're not sure how to do it, if things got very acrimonious, seek help. Seek help. There is help, and it's possible to do it. It's possible, as you said, there are plenty of examples when co-parenting can be done amicably and in the interest of children. So this brings me to I have three crown questions in my podcast. I always like to ask my guests, what is happiness for you?
Happiness for me is when you wake up every morning with a smile and you can't wait to start your day because you're excited about what's coming up this day, you know? So as I said, everything what I did in my life, I did with intention. I choose everything. I choose to get married. I choose love over my career when I was 29. I choose to be a mother and I choose to be a parenting coach. And this is what I do every day. I wake up every day with a smile on my face, waking up my kids, starting my parenting coach business, doing my social media videos and coaching mothers. And yeah, this is really, I think when you live by purpose and intention and do things what makes you really happy, then you are happy. So that's happiness for me.
Amazing. And yes, I see you're very active on social media. You're giving a lot. Again, find Helen on Instagram and social medias. I'll put the links in the description of the podcast. I want to share what I know and who I know, and that's one of my missions in life. I am lucky to meet incredible people, giving people, happy people, positive. And Helen, what is success for you then?
I think the biggest success for every woman is to build a family and have kids. I really think that's success for me. And to say I'm a mother of three, this is my favorite job title from all titles I got in my whole life. I don't want to carry another, just this one. And I think this is really what I talked to a mother a couple of days ago, a client, and she told me that when she was a young mother, she was struggling a lot. She was upset, and so this her life changed from one to another day, from having a career in the office to being a mother. And the society out there tells us uh, you define yourself about the job. When I had my first child, he was 6 months old or 8 months. I went to a business party for my husband, and one of his colleagues came and asked me, "Oh, you are his wife. What are you doing in life?" I said, "I'm a mother." And she said, "Yeah, but what you doing?" I said, "Yeah, but I'm a mother." And she said, "No, I want to know what your job is." I said, I'm a mother. So, and she said, but that's not a job. You need to work. And I said, no, that's weird, you know? So, but this is the society today that we define ourselves only as what we work and not who we are. And this is so sad, you know? So that um, everyone is expecting from us women so much and telling us, we women, we have to do this, we have to do this, we have to do this. But who has a right to tell us women what we have to do? And this one woman I told you, you know, didn't feel enough because the world out there is telling her that when she's not working, she's maybe not the whole person, a whole woman. So you need to go to an office to be alive. And that's so sad today. So, and I know so many women struggling with the same, and other women pointing on these women, you need to go back to work. And so we women need to be free to choose what we want to do. You know, if you want to be a working mom and you have a good helper home, go for it. Be a happy mother if that's what is good for you. But choose your path. And if you choose to be home, be happy with that. You know, just be happy what you're doing. But for me, the most important part is really build a family and have children. You know, that's the most rewarding and beautiful thing what can happen in your life. And don't wait. You know, in Germany many women wait until end of 30s because it's also the same. The society is telling us we need to study, we need to work in the 30s, and it's difficult to have all in the same time. But in the late 30s, it's for some women too late. You know, the nature is against that. You know, so, but I did, why not choosing my path? Having a baby, three babies in the 30s, and now I'm 43 and I'm starting a new career. I have so much time to work, you know. When I work until 64 or later, I still have 20 years to have a career. This is amazing. So I have kids and have a career. We can have everything, but maybe not together, not on the same time. Just make one thing and then do the other thing, you know, without getting burned out, without, you know, I think many marriage also are not forever because it's too much stress on parents. You know, having small children, it's hard. You know, you had the same little children. It's hard work, and then when you work on the same time, it's very difficult to keep a healthy relationship. So, but when you maybe do things after each other without losing yourself, it's maybe a very healthy way. So for me, I think that's maybe my secret for success.
Beautiful. Beautiful, and it's very important that there are women like you who openly say that because, as you said, society expects different things, but we are all different and we have different circumstances and different paths. If you can afford to stay at home and be a mom and support your husband, it's beautiful. Embrace it, and if that's what you want. If you have to work or you want to work, again, there are ways to do that, like what I did. When we had the children, I was I was working already for myself and I had a husband. So it was beautiful that I did not miss anything. Not the first steps, not the first words. I was there for the first tooth, for the first step, for the first word, for everything. And even now, I work for myself. I choose my hours because my children come first. I want to be there for everything. And you know what? This September is my son's last first day at school. And it's so emotional. But all of those days, I'm here, I'm opening the door. We have this Bulgarian tradition. You know, I could, with a glass of water, I just say, I want your life to go as on water, like easy. And I love that to be there for all of that. So it's possible. Some women choose not to have children or marriage. Some women cannot have children. We all have different circumstances, but decide what's right for you. And there's nothing more beautiful than a woman chooses to have children and wants to have children because this is when happy children are born. And before my crown question, I just wanted to say thank you. to www.healingwater.com for sponsoring this episode of the podcast. Here's to healthy, alive, alkaline Kangen water. And Helen, show me your diamond.
I love it. This is my favorite part. We talked a lot about my diamond actually in this episode already. It's our instinct, our intuition. So, because this is really what I believe many mothers are missing today, and we talked about this so much already that that's my mission. I want to show mothers that they know what is right and wrong. And when my first child was born, I chose to buy a co-sleeping bed for him. So I thought I read in a book, this is the most important thing, that the child always is next to you and feels you. And this was really the part of my listening to my instinct, listening to my child's need. He was next to me and still felt too far away. So I put him closer to me and then I felt he's safe. And everything I looked for the cues, what he really needs and wants. He needs my attention or he needs to cuddle, whatever. So this is really what I feel my biggest strength is to give to mothers. Listen to your heart. And also when I was asked once by another mother, so what gave me the strength to start listening to me and stop listening to the voices around me? Because of course, I had so many voices around me, and I think the biggest strength is really my faith, my family. We are deep Christian believers, and I think this is a big part of my identity and my strength. Listening to me, knowing what is good, because when I have a problem and I have a question, I know who I can ask and I get the answer straight away. And this is the intuition, this is the instinct. When you are in alignment with your faith and with your heart, then you know what's best for your children. And this is what I want to share with mothers.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Helen. It's been a pleasure having you. There's so many diamonds of wisdom on this podcast. Please take them, use them, and believe in yourself and know that it's possible. Here you have two women voting for you, standing by you, telling you you can do this. Thank you, Helen, for being my guest today. You're a beautiful diamond.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a very beautiful conversation.
Thank you.